Guard has come out with this new adjustable riving knife called the ARK. And I'm going to go ahead and just compare the two systems that they've had. The first system was a fixed splitter, and it came with 3 different heights of splitters. And again, this is the new product, which is an adjustable riving knife. You had a short stubby that did not have the guard attached to it for non-through cuts. You had a medium splitter, and then you had a tall splitter for really thick stock. So, zero clearance insert comes out. These splitters mount onto the original equipment block. So this is a Delta Unisaw, and it's using the original splitter block back there to mount to. Then you just put this in, make a zero clearance insert. As you can see on this back side, as I move the blade down in height, this separation between the splitter and the blade teeth gets bigger. The adjustable riving knife, I'll show you here in a minute, eliminates that issue. This is what it would look like with the guard on. For non-through cuts, put in the short stubby splitter. If you needed to change from this splitter to this splitter, okay, I've removed the old style splitters here, and I'll take those out of the way. The only thing that you're going to need for the new adjustable riving knife is the guard bracket and the guard. The splitters themselves we don't need. You'll need the guard bracket, so we'll take that off. The splitters themselves are the old system that are fixed in height that we no longer need. So for our installation of our new adjustable riving knife, we have to put this red block and mount it where the original. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen those bolts up and get that block out of there. Okay, so I've got that block out of there. Loosened those bolts up and took those blocks out of there. This is what the block looks like. You can see the old style splitters would go in and they'd bolt there, and that's how they mounted. There's a kind of a ledge there, and that's how they mounted into the old system. Anyhow, we don't need the splitters. We no longer need this block and the 2 bolts that mounted the block into place. So we're going to set those aside. The new block has 2 elongated holes, and that allows our alignment with our blade. So we can go this way, or we can move this way and this way. And ultimately what we need is we need this block, this riving knife, to line things up exactly in the same plane as the blade. Before I mount the block in place, I wanted to show kind of how this works. This is a manual adjustable riving knife. On newer saws, some of the other saws out there, you'll see as the blade raises, the riving knife comes up automatically with the blade. In other words, the riving knife height is tied right into your elevation wheel on the front of the saw. On older saws like this is kind of a retrofit to give you the ability to have some of the benefits of a riving knife on a saw like an older Delta saw like this. So basically what this is, you can see I'm right down next to the blade here, and I have this kind of propped up, but I have it right next down to the blade. And if I wanted to raise the blade, all I do is turn this ratcheting knob, slide the riving knife up on the block, because the block's going to be fixed, and then I would raise the blade to whatever level I wanted, and if I needed to come back down, that's fine. I would just loosen that ratcheting handle and come back down. That allows me to keep the adjustable riving knife right on the back side of the saw. Okay, so you can see I've got the block mounted and the adjustable riving knife in place. And I'll just show you briefly how it works. I have the blade in. So I have a table insert. There will be another video on how to make an insert for the adjustable riving knife. The old style has a bridge in between the splitter and the blade slot. With the adjustable riving knife, we can't have that bridge there. It's in the way. So if you look briefly at this insert, you'll notice we've kept a bridge on the back side to keep the separation there. And this slot is now open the whole length. And that allows that adjustable riving knife to get close to the blade. The bracket that holds the guard onto the riving knife is loose and slides into place. Then you just tighten the hand knobs, and now that's securely in place. Then the guard would just go right on top of that. You can then put your dust collector on top if you wanted to. If we wanted to lower the blade, okay, it pulls away from the riving knife. We pull our insert, loosen the ratcheting handle, lower the riving knife to the appropriate height, tighten it back up, put our insert in, take our guard with the mount, the bracket mount, lock it back up, and now we're back in business with our guard. I did want to mention that the bracket, the bottom of that bracket, is lower than the top of your blade. And it's lower by about probably a ½ inch. So that's just something that you want to remember when you're setting your blade height, is that that bracket sits a little bit lower than the top of the teeth. And therefore you're going to need a little more clearance than just the top of your blade. Another thing I wanted to mention is with the bracket on place, you can't get the insert out. So this bracket really does have to come off for you to get into the riving knife to adjust it. The splitter set came with the little stubby unit that allowed for non-through cuts. The riving knife will do the same thing. So if I wanted to do an 1/8 inch slot, I could go ahead and cut and set the riving knife down, and the riving knife sits below the top tooth, so it's not going to interfere with your cut. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was, along with those non-through cuts or slots, you can do dados. So I've set it up with a dado stack, and the adjustable riving knife is in place, and you can see that it sits underneath the top tooth. And when I cut that dado, I'm going to clear out that spot where that adjustable riving knife is. So there is absolutely no reason that I can think of anyways that you'll need to ever remove the adjustable riving knife from your saw. Even on non-through cuts, you can lower the adjustable riving knife lower than the elevation of your top tooth.